the fact that you're inside this huge castle, that there are many vampires and zombies and werewolves and stuff that you fight, and even the regenerating skeletons. Another important thing to note is that if you people remember the skeletons, the big red skeletons, that when you hit them they would like fall down in pieces, but then they would magically reassemble themselves and fight you again. Yeah, those guys are back. They're in this game, and they're one of the tougher enemies in the game. They don't go down easy. Yeah, but anyways, in this castle, you actually fight this game's version of the Frankenstein monster. Yeah, that's right. The Frankenstein monster is in this game. I was kind of disappointed that they didn't have any mummies. There isn't a single mummy in this game, which I don't really like. But this game's version of the Frankenstein monster is really weird. Like, basically, the Frankenstein monster in this game is like a giant robot scorpion. And it has, the head of the scorpion is this little bubble. This little glass bubble that has like this little bitty fetus of like this weird alien creature inside of it. God, that was so weird. Yeah, but anyways, you go further into the castle, then before you fight the main vampire lord, you fight the last of the two vampire generals, whose name is Olrox, which was the name of that giant lizard boss. That, like, big, giant, weird lizard boss in Symphony of the Night. For those of you who weren't aware. After you kill him, you fight the vampire lord, whose name is Carmilla, which was the name of another major Castlevania villain. She was one of the main antagonists in another DS game. I can't remember which one it was, but anyways, after you kill her, after Gabriel kills her, you get transported to the land of the dead. Which, ooh, fan alert, in the land of the dead, you actually find out that the leader, the Lord of Shadow for the dead, is Death himself. Yeah, Death, as in the Grim Reaper. That's a pretty cool revelation, isn't it? Yeah, but anyways, you meet this old, dirty, humpback witch named Baba. And then you have to go kill these big three scary-ass scarecrows with like these big wooden scythes on their arms and stuff. In a location of the game that kind of reminds me a little bit of like Children of the Corn. Not Children of the Corn, like, you know those movies that are set in those big straw fields and have those scarecrow monsters and stuff? Yeah, it's like something Stephen King would write. Yeah, but moving on. After you do that, Baba traps you in this music box, which you have to solve this puzzle by making this music box play this tune. And this tune that's in this music box, if you listen to it enough, you'll actually find out that it's the Vampire Killer song from the original NES Castlevania game. That's awesome. That is fucking awesome. I really nerded out when I found that out. Yeah, but anyways, after you solve that puzzle, you get transported to the places that move towards the final parts of the game before you fight Death. And then you have to fight through like these giant coffins. There are these coffins with these legs that sprout out. It's really cool looking, but they're some of the hardest enemies in the game. Which which they were also enemies in Super Castlevania 4. And then, once you get through them, you have to go through a whole bunch of other puzzles and stuff. And then, you eventually meet Death. But you don't fight Death in his Grim Reaper form, but no. Instead, he turns into this giant, flying, skeleton worm that flies around, and you have to ride on it and take out all these big weak spots. Like, it's probably the most epic battle in the game. It's amazing. It is an amazing boss battle. It's so epic. Like, this game's version of Death is probably one of the best boss battles ever. It's so epic. Yeah, but anyways, so after you fight Death, you encounter Zobek, who betrays you, and he reveals that he is the Lord of the Necromancers. That he is the one who actually cast the spell that separated the heavens from the earth. And then he reveals that, oh, I am the perpetrator of all these events. I'm the one who led you here. And now I will become the most powerful being in the universe. Blah, 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 blah. He goes on like this 4-minute long evil monologue, which Patrick Stewart offers undoubtedly his most ridiculous and over-the-top performance in this whole game. My God. If you play the game and you watch the scene, it's ridiculous. And it's also funny just how ridiculous and over-the-top Patrick Stewart acts. Like, he's all very dramatic, and he's all very elegant and loud and soft and hard-spoken, and it's just funny. You have to watch the scene for yourself. It's quite hilarious. You could tell Patrick Stewart was having a fun time when he did that scene. Yeah, but then he also tells us that Patrick Stewart actually used this thing called the Devil Mask, which I forgot. I left out that whole part about the God Mask. This whole time you play the game, Gabriel's looking for the pieces of this thing called the God Mask, which is supposed to bring back his dead wife. He finds all the pieces of the God Mask, but that's when Zobek betrays him. Like, when you fight all the